Our house has a foundation. We're in Florida, so instead of soil, we have sand. Therefore, we get, if I understand this correctly, what's called a raft slab foundation. It's a continuous concrete pad that the house will sit on top of. I think the bulk of this is 4 inches thick, but then anywhere it needs to carry a load, like the perimeter walls, the staircase, and whatever other load-bearing walls in the house, they dug down and the foundation is a couple of feet thick. In 3 dimensions, the whole thing sort of ends up looking like a raft. Those thick areas also got a bunch of rebar that goes the entire length of it. I just made a video about why reinforced concrete needs rebar to be strong and what it's actually doing in there. If you don't know, it's actually pretty interesting. I even made a couple of my own little concrete beams and tested it out. Hey! A link to that should be right up here. Before they poured all this concrete, they came out, flattened the land, and dug out trenches where the footers would go, which is the deeper, stronger part of the concrete that's gonna hold up the wall. Also trenches for plumbing and power to come in and the sewer to go back out. Then the plumbing team came in and set up all these different lines for the kitchen, our bathroom, Billy's room, the guest room, the laundry room, the outdoor kitchen in the back, and ones for upstairs. After that, they came back and wrapped the entire site in plastic, which will keep the moisture out of the concrete pad. Evidently, moisture can travel through concrete, and dampness is just bad news all over. This is one of the reasons houses have crawl spaces with different construction techniques. And apparently, concrete can pass its moisture off to the ground beneath it right after it's been poured. And I guess if it dries too quickly, that can weaken the concrete or something to that effect. So, we got all that plastic and all the piping inspected and set a date to pour the foundation. Fast forward to this week, and this gigantic pump truck is at the site of our new house. It was able to rip through 6 concrete-filled trucks in about an hour. It had this really big robot arm, and this thing reached up, I would guess like 30 feet high. And then it just dangles this big tube straight down where the concrete comes out. There was this guy with a remote-controlled joystick just driving the concrete tube around, dumping concrete. Another guy stood at the end of it, calf deep in wet cement, having a rodeo with the thing as they moved throughout the floor plan. When Sarah's dad was younger than I am now, he and his wife built their own house. And unfortunately, they didn't have a big robot arm concrete pump truck.
To probably get 6 cement trucks of concrete, I would have had to have been mixing till I'm 85.
Anyway, then there was an orchestra of other guys shoveling concrete around to even it out, flattening it down with a big long stick. Then there was this guy who had this little pole that was communicating with a laser beam just off to the side. You can see it over there on the right. He would flatten out little patches of the concrete to control the whole thing being level. And then the other guys would use the height of these patches to fill the rest of the place level. It was actually quite a show. Then this guy showed up with a really long stick, and he gave the whole place a glossy finish with a wedge of aluminum. A few different times throughout the process, a clean-shirted inspector lady and an inspector guy would show up, measure some stuff, give a thumbs up, and keep everything going. Pouring the whole house portion of the slab really only took about an hour. And by then, apparently it was already firm enough to remove the forms at the front of the house where it attaches to the garage. The garage slab is a few inches lower down than the house. If you ever notice when you walk out to your garage, you always step down into the garage. I guess so that when your car dumps gasoline or oil or whatever else all over the floor some random night, it doesn't end up rolling into your house. It rolls outside. Or maybe some other reason. I don't know the reason. But anyway, they poured that next. We went out to Chick-fil-A for lunch, and by the time we came back, they were already able to stand on the thing. This guy was on there with this spinning power trowel machine, putting the final finish on the surface. So now, here we are, one day later on my freshly poured foundation. I'm actually in the front of my garage, which is gonna be my new studio once this is all done. It's a lot easier now to get a clear picture of the first floor of the house. Looking next door, Marcelo's house, we met him last night while he was walking around looking at the build too. But he's already got his blocks delivered and they put them up today, like before noon. So it's kind of like looking into our future. His whole build is about a week ahead of ours. So next time you see me standing in this spot, I'll be standing in the shade because we'll have walls.